Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It is Thursday. I don't know what the date is. Like I said in my previous video that I did, I've been working 12-hour days, so that's why I haven't done a video in a couple of days. When I get home, tired, going to bed, going right back to it. So I wanted to jump on here and do a video. There's a lot of stuff going on. A lot of stuff with the Dems and the far left and the elites that are trying to fight the current president's agenda. A lot of these judges are trying to stop him from what he's doing. A lot of the Dems are upset that Doge and the Trump administration is finding all this wasteful spending to the point where they're fighting tooth and nail to stop it. Now, what is the reason why they would want to stop the current president and his team from finding wasteful spending? Well, it's because they're getting kickbacks. They're on the take. They're getting money. And as Doge finds more of this money, they are not getting it. It's not getting laundered back. It's not getting put into these committees and laundered back to them. That's why most of Congress and Senate, they make $175,000 a year, and most of them have a net worth of $60 to $70 million. They have every stock. They know when it's going to go up before it goes up, because insider trading is completely legal for Congress and Senate, because they need to know so that way they can prepare. Now, I think all that's wrong. I think that Doge finding all the waste and corruption that they're doing with our tax dollars is amazing. I think a lot of the stuff that Donald Trump is doing is amazing. But as all that's being said, I was looking through and kind of doing a little bit of research here, and there's more people out here that know more about this situation than I do, so please chime in into the comments. Let me know what your thoughts are. Now, according to what I've researched, there have been 11 major wars within the United States since Congress, Senate, and all that stuff. Obviously, we know about the Revolutionary Wars. We know about the littler wars. I'm talking about big ones. Okay? And out of that 11 wars, the U.S. has started 5 of them that they actually put into law saying that they were going to war. Okay? Now, we all have heard the stories of, for instance, Pearl Harbor, that they had advanced knowledge that that was going to happen, but they let it happen anyways, so that way we could, in turn, go to war. The same with September 11th. A lot of people believe that that was perpetrated by our own government, so that way we could go to war. There's other ones throughout history. It's the same way. The Vietnam War. They said that there was an attack out in the Red Sea that supposedly never took place, and we retaliated. A lot of that has happened throughout history. And as we find out what Doge is finding out with our money and our tax money, it kind of leads you down a trail where you can put the pieces together that war generates money. I went through and put a couple of numbers together. World War I cost the United States taxpayer $32 billion. Yes, $32 billion. And when that war took place, $32 billion in today's money would be the equivalent to $602 billion. Okay? I meant World War I. Sorry. World War I was $32 billion. World War II cost the taxpayers $4 trillion. Okay? You don't even want to know what the equivalent of that is in today's money. It's a number that you couldn't even fathom. The Vietnam War cost $111 billion. Desert Storm cost $100 billion. Now, the Afghan War that was triggered by September 11th, and went for 21 years averaged $8 trillion a year. Yeah, can you believe that? $8 trillion a year. Now, do you think that every dollar of that, just hypothetically, went to only war stuff, like ammunitions and tanks and military personnel? No, they were sending goats over to Afghanistan to produce cashmere. All the goats died, cost $50 million. The project was a flop. They built a complex over there that was supposed to be for the United States military. Cost $80 million. It was blew up and destroyed before the U.S. ever stepped foot in it. There's millions of these. There's a Turning Point on Netflix you can watch, and they talk a little bit more about some of the stuff that they spent money on. But if you think about it, Joe Biden's brother was the defense contractor who was hired during the Afghan war and during a lot of these different wars to rebuild and do things, and they were spending $80,000 for a bag of washers. I don't think, when I go to the store up here to buy washers, they cost maybe $5-10. But that's the kind of stuff that they're saying is for wartime, that they're getting these big, huge, endless checks for war. Because then they have the power of the purse, and they can just spend, with nobody looking into it. To the point where I found one article that says that they believe, since all of this has started, if they go back far enough and look into these wars and Democrats over the course of history, they think that they're going to come up with a number around $330 trillion in waste. Yes, you heard me right. $330 trillion in waste that has came from taxpayers. Your grandfather, grandmother, their great-grandfather, grandmother, who broke their backs and paid taxes, and us who are paying taxes still to this day, they are stealing money from us for their own personal agendas. These wars never even needed to happen, but it is a money laundering situation for them. The war in Ukraine is nothing different. It is them trying to protect their interest in their biolabs, their money laundering, their child trafficking. All of that stuff is what is going on in Ukraine. And it's just a big money laundering hub. So, with that being said, I want to know your thoughts. Let me know your thoughts on where should we start that investigation into when they started scamming us and stealing our money. How far do we go back? What instances do we look at? Because there are so many to count. It is ridiculous. They have been stealing money from us for a long time. And I have a theory. Now, don't get me wrong, I love the Constitution. I think it's amazing. But I wrote a book not long ago called We the Peasants, an 8th Century Stronghold. I believe full-heartedly that what happened was kings and queens got tired of us, the peasants, rising up against them, because we constantly were fighting for our freedoms, and we constantly were going into battle against them. Now, they had large armies and they destroyed us in every way, shape, and form, but we still stood up and died for what we believed in. I believe they put the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence forward, signed it into law to make you and I think that we had a say. That they would put this document forth and it would say, hey, you can have a vote now. You can vote for who you want to represent you in the states, the Congress, the Senate, and the presidency. And your voice will be heard from now on. There's no need for you to want to fight anymore and rise up against us. You can just listen to what we have to say, and we'll make sure that your best interest is at hand. But as we can see, that is not what happened. They created the Constitution and separated from the king, but he was still the king for many years after that happened. George Washington became the president, and it was just this nonstop from there on. Congress, then they created the Senate, then they created all of these other government agencies, and now mind you, they all did this to look out for your best interest, to make sure you had a voice, that you could vote, to make sure the American agenda was getting done. What we're learning today is that that has never happened. The presidents are actually installed. Republican, Democrat, they're installed into the presidency. The elites who have the most money make it look really well. They have, the same amount of Republicans as they do independents throughout the course of history, are Republicans and Democrats. There's only been one independent who's ever ran for the president, and he did not win. Okay? So, that being said, what Doge is finding out is that that is 100% accurate. This is just a non-stop laundering, get-rich scheme and continue to stay in power to advance the elites' agenda. Nothing more. So, when a gentleman like Donald Trump shows up, who is already a billionaire, and wants to put America first and do things for Americans, the Democrats and the elites do not like that, because that disrupts their balance of power that they have created and have put forth, making us think that they're looking out for our well-being. But they're not. So, my thought is when you have these Democratic judges, these Democrats fighting tooth and nail to stop everything that helps the American people, stops the money laundering, or they say they're going to arrest or put charges against Donald Trump. I say there was 200,000 lawsuits against Joe Biden. He was impeached probably 27 times that never stuck. They never kicked him out. He just did whatever he wanted, no matter what the Supreme Court said, no matter what Republicans said, no matter what happened. Why? Because he was installed by the elites to continue their agenda. Now you have a president in there who is trying to do things for the American people, and they are already trying to impeach him. They're trying to stop him. They're trying to do whatever they can to stop this man. And that is not what the American people voted for. But like I said, your vote doesn't really count. You're just someone that they raised up to go to school, go to college, get a job, work until you are unalived, so that way they can take all your money. That is all they want from you, is your money and to have the power over you. That is all they want. Your vote don't matter. You are literally just a notch that is paying their way. So, let me know your thoughts, because as an American, I'm pissed off, and I'm getting even more pissed every day that we don't see the Epstein list, that we don't see what happened to JFK, even though we already know that the Epstein list is going to contain congressmen, senators, presidents, kings, queens, celebrities, elites. They're all going to be on that list. We know it already. You don't have to redact it because you think that it's going to be a national security issue. We already know. John F. Kennedy, we already know that our own government unalived a president. We already know it. No reason to redact it. Release the Diddy list. We already know what's going on with it. Get it out there. Release it. That is what Donald Trump told us he was going to do, and he has tasked Pam Bondi with releasing it. Let's get it done. No more waiting. Americans are getting pissed. We already know what's going on. We know they're stealing our money. We want to know what is going on. There needs to be a total revamp of the whole federal government. We do not need 500 senators and 500 congressmen. We only need 50 of each and a president. Most of the government agencies could even go away, save hundreds of billions of dollars. Doge is saving tons of money already. Now, with that being said, I have the U.S. debt clock pulled up because I seen a video on TikTok that threw me for a loop. There is one little deal on here. I'm going to turn my camera around. Don't mind my desk because it is messy. But I'm going to show you what it says, okay? Here we go. We'll bring this like this. And we'll show you right there. Total hidden wealth. Okay, and you click on that. And it brings up... Oh, here we go. Let's do that. Right there, recaptured. It says financial and material assets repossessed from the fraudulent racketeering operations of the internal banking cartel. Okay, that background. So I don't know if you've seen what that number said, but that's $7 trillion. $7 trillion total in the hidden wealth. So I had no idea what that meant. So I looked it up. And what it says is titled billionaire enabler status. How the U.S. states captured by the trust industry help the world's wealthy hide their fortunes. The new report from the Institute for Policy Studies estimates that the United States is host to $7 trillion in trust and estate assets belonging to the super wealthy elites, both foreign and domestic. Now, remember a while back when they signed that law stating that if you went to the bank and you had $600 or $600 went into your account, that they needed to know about that. $600. We're talking $7 trillion that they have in hidden wealth. Hidden wealth. And they know about it, obviously, and it's just accumulated because we pay tax money to them so they can be rich. Yeah, so there's lots of interesting stuff here. I mean, I am totally pissed as an American, and you should be too. There's so many people out there talking about not paying taxes no more. So many people out there talking about something needs to be done. Where is the arrests for these people who are committing treason within our Congress and Senate? We know they're stealing money. We know they're laundering money. We know that they were behind the vid, that it was a bioweapon. We know this stuff, and nothing is being done. I literally, the amount of money from the start to now, $330 trillion. And I guarantee you, if you go back further, you're going to get an even higher number. And if they start digging into congressmen and senators, their bank accounts and stuff, you're looking at numbers that are unfathomable. Fathomable. You know, however you say the word. It pisses me off. It should piss you off. I want to know your thoughts. Let me know in the comments. Share this video so everybody can comment. But something needs to be done. It's time to release the information to the American people. Because, unlike most of the other installed presidents, this one was voted in. 70 million plus votes for the current administration and the Doge team. Because we knew about it, they told us about it, and we voted for it. Because we want to know where our money's going. So, this is my video for today. Like I said, comment, let me know what's going on. I'll see you on the next video.